Hello and welcome, everybody. This is the Domain Gaming. We present to you Harmony's Fall, and of course, our DM is going to be Vyncent.
Oh, that's my cue. Well, good evening, everyone. I hope you're all I hope you're all excited for a grand adventure across the great beyond and all such things. Fresh off of the werewolf campaign, we've decided to take a bit of a detour into Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. So I will be your game master for this adventure. And I'd like to open up with the quick breakdown from each character. So, starting at the top and working our way down, and joining us is Envy Rose. Give us a little bit about your character.
Uh, well, Ikishi is a fun loving, adventure seeking swashbuckler and always doing things out of instinct. Kind of fuzzy, being a little tabaxi. Tab, am I saying that right?
Tabaxi, yes.
Tabaxi. There you go.
Cat-like race.
Yeah. So it's gonna be so much fun. Can't wait to blow up some towns.
All right. And Gandhi?
Okay, I'm going to be playing Ural. Mechanically, he's a orc barbarian, Path of the Beast. Actual appearance, character-wise, I mean, he's an orc. He's a bit on the older side. He is balding at this point. He doesn't really care, but he's probably just wandering the woods right now, just hoping that nothing wacky happens. No one falls from the sky.
All right. Nappy Kitty?
I will be playing a gnome cleric. I am short and stout, very eccentric. I love Mother Earth. And yeah, so hopefully I'll also be charging people for heals. That's just how I was brought about. And I think my character is currently falling from the sky.
All right. And Pewter?
I will be playing Devin Frey. He's a half-elf warlock. He's got shoulder-length blonde hair, average height, but he's rather skinny at 115 pounds. Did I say Hexblade? I don't remember. But yeah, Hexblade probably also falling from the sky because reasons that he won't go into yet.
All right. And finally, our host of the Domain Gaming, Ian.
I will be playing as Jace, your standard tiefling druid, focusing on shapeshifting. I love animals. Desperately so. Don't ever hurt an animal in front of me, otherwise I may take your legs.
Oddly enough, as will most people in this story. Anyway, from here on out, we'll be referring to our characters as we'll be naming our characters. So bear in mind what your names are. You will be called by them. And yeah, let's begin. Harken back to time of old, of knights and magic and scores of gold, where in the sky the gods do play, with mortal lives like wetted clay. Yet in this perfect peace doth stir the spark with which the soul doth spur. Though not on land, but the skies therein, 'tis here our adventure, our tale, begin. The great beyond to those sparked call of glory, power, and harmony's fall. Each of you existed in a city known as Harmony, and floated above the clouds. You know not what is beneath, only that those who fall beneath the clouds are never to return. As the goddess Batuna, the creator, the artist of Harmony, created a short-lived race, she imbued into it the power known as the spark. This spark calls and drives the soul to achieve greater heights every day, to push oneself beyond their limits. This ability was envied by the other gods and goddesses, whom forced Batuna to, under duress, imbue the other races with the spark. While this has caused other races to be adventurous, the tieflings, the elves, the dwarves, the gnomes, and everything here and there between, the spark was also not meant for such long-lived races, and as a result, things began to morph within them. The dwarves became greedy, the elves became haughty, the tieflings became devious, and the tabaxi became ever more curious. As a result, the gods and goddesses did their best to minimize this damage by hopefully teaching the other races how to behave under such desires. But a populace that is given this kind of ability out of the blue responds to it with fearful and deadly response. People who have exhibited these abilities and are unable to cope with modern life are marked as spark-touched, or, in other words, have gone mad from the spark. Those who have gone mad from the spark, it is believed there is no cure and nor hope, and those are cast outside of harmony for the good of the city. Jace, Devin, Kaya, and Yikishi. You four, having been found guilty of spark madness, have been cast asunder from harmony and are mere moments from breaking the clouds below. Starting at the top, Jace, what are your thoughts on this? What led to you being cast out? Guilty or not? What's going through your mind at this moment?
Well, if I'm just breaking through the clouds, I'm looking at the ground and thinking, this is going to hurt.
Now, you haven't broken through the
Okay.
clouds yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Honestly, with the wind buffeting me as heavily as it is, I'm probably not thinking very straight. I'm in sheer panic and terror as I fall into the clouds.
All right. As you do so, we'll get to that. Devin, you two are, though knowing not that you're not alone, being cast asunder. Reaching easily close to terminal velocity at this point, the clouds seem to come at you as the maw to eat your very soul. What thoughts does Devin have?
Thoughts. Well, yeah, panic is one of them, but that doesn't last for very long because I know that I can survive the fall. Did they give me one of them? What'd you say? Feathers?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Each of you, or rather, this is just comes standard with being a citizen of Harmony. You've been given a magic feather, whereas under the belief that if there's something below, it won't kill you when you land. It is a consumable magic item you get to use once.
Okay, so my panic is less about falling to my death, but more, falling into the unknown.
It's only if there's something underneath.
If there's something, yes. So I'll hold off until I break through the clouds.
And Kaya, seemingly betrayed by the gods who granted you their powers, you fall almost like a brick of steel, descending at rapid speed. What on world is going through your mind?
No, not again. I didn't do it. What did I do?
Fair.
I panicked.
And Yikishi, curiosity appears to have finally gotten to you for the last time. What goes through your
Anger.
mind?
Anger and thoughts of revenge, of coming back. I can't believe I got betrayed like this after everything I did. I followed every order. This is how I get treated. I will come back here and get revenge. And that's
Well,
it.
As the four of you plummets through the clouds, it is extremely cold. The wind bites at your face, frost appears on tufts of hair and whiskers and just the extremities. As soon as the clouds are breached, though, you see what below you is not an abyss, so much as an island. A large, vast island, far larger than Harmony could ever hope to be, being a floating island and all. You understand this to be just massive in scale, and though you may not individually follow the goddess Batuna, you understand that she often takes an interest in creation, and this would very clearly be something of her own making. You spot to the south of this vast region, to the south, a volcano. You've read about them in books, mountains that erupt fire, does spew its magma down to the coast. Upon the east side, an odd mix of desert and forested area. A large patch of pink in the top right. And to the west, you see pale white coasts. And of course, to the north, you see what you have heard of as snow. These are things that you knew of in stories that the gods and goddesses created to tell around the fireplace. But to actually see them for the first time, being so used to an urban city environment, it's quite a wondrous sight. And if it weren't for the fact you were plummeting at terminal velocity and mere moments away from splattering into this great thing, you might be able to take in some wonder. It is at this point, after just a few more moments, when you can see the island below, the feather embedded in each of your clothing seems to almost catch fire.
You're supposed to do that.
No, no.
I start trying to pat it out.
And your patting does you absolutely no good, and in fact, it only seems to make the fire spread. In panic, you expect to feel the flames licking at you, but they don't. They don't at all. Though I will say, Kaya, you do feel significantly lighter, almost as if the gilded armor granted to you by your order is being burnt in the flames. So, we turn now to the peaceful Fey wilds near the center of this continent. A wizened elder orc is investigating a strange black and purple mess left on the ground. Ural, if you could give me an Arcana check.
We're not in like a program or anything, so I just roll. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Like
whatever you
we're
want to do.
not. Yeah, I mean I have it open on a roll twice. So I'll just. Well, I'm
Just
not very
in
smart. I have a 5.
just in the event that anyone who is listening to this is not familiar with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, instead of using 6-sided dice like the werewolf game, or 10-sided dice, I'm sorry, as the werewolf game did, 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons relies on percentage chances to succeed based on bonuses granted by the character and a 20-sided dice roll. So rather than having multiple dice, there's usually only one dice to roll on skill checks. So you rolled a 5.
Yeah, so I've never been very good at my job of.
Oh no, you understand nature and flora and fauna. In fact, you happen to know that the rose that you're investigating is quite helpful when it comes to creating tonics for hair growth. But that doesn't help when you rub your hands along it and it oozes a sickness and an illness, and you kind of gently, gingerly poke at this ooze, and it doesn't feel right. This is no mere disease. And that is about the time the area around you gets just a little bit brighter. as you look up into the sky and you see a sight that you are actually not unfamiliar with, seemingly to be like comets or meteorites falling through the clouds above. You recognize these as four fallen, and they seem to be hurtling almost at the exact same time towards the city of Dissonance below.
Just I'm gonna mutter to myself like, more fall from the sky. Well, do I like? Are they falling towards dissonance, or
Yes, they are in fact careening towards the outskirts. Each of them on one side, each of them in different parts of the outskirts. You do remember with your discussions with the Baron that you and the Baron, whom none of you know yet, that's fine. You and the Baron do have a working relationship. Most of the time, these beings that fall tend to hit the city. So the city or the town has been kind of built with that in mind. Um, but if they fall on the outskirts, it's kind of a common business courtesy for you to pick them up.
yeah? Suppose it's not worth letting them die from tripping on a twig or something. I'm gonna start walking towards that direction. There's not a whole lot I can do here with this diseased flower. It's it's an issue, but not one I can solve at the moment.
Probably grab a sample.
Do I have anything to?
Oh yeah, you've got vials, you've got all kind of things. The hunters of the south are quite adept at gathering this kind of information, and so they are experts at getting sample vials, jars, weapons to use against the great monsters of the plains, that sort of thing. So, yeah, you've got what you need to.
All right, then I'll take a sample or two here.
All right, that is plus 15 research points. No, I'm just kidding.
Ah, are my scout flies locking on to the problem?
No, they're just as
Ah,
clueless as you.
shit. Okay.
I think
All
green.
right. So you know what? We're going to just kind of start at the top of the list. I've got here. Uh-oh, who'd we lose?
That was
Bob.
correct.
Ah. All right. So Jace,
Yes.
the flames have, as a whole, completely engulfed you at this point. You cannot see you cannot see the land below. You cannot see what's around you. All you see is this fire. It does not burn, yet you remain engulfed in it. You can only presume that this is the feather acting out its last charge to save your life in the event of impact. At the very last moment, the flames sort of give way and you land. Well, give me a dexterity saving throw. Roll a d20 and add your dexterity saving throw modifier.
Pretty sure that's 0. My dex.
Your saving throw might be a little bit better.
I don't think druids get dex proficiency, do they?
Oh, that's why I said might.
Okay. I can't remember.
Yeah, where on my sheet is that? Just so I'm making sure I'm looking in the right place.
It is looking at the character sheet.
I got
So you've got your 6 stats, and then you got score, modifier, and saving throw.
Yeah, it's 0. But that's a 14.
A 14. Despite the brush, the trees, and everything around it, you do manage to navigate a somewhat respectable landing. Respectable, not necessarily orthodox. However, you do land unharmed and on your 2 feet. Around you.
I make a brisk comment. My knees. And then I straighten up and start to look around.
Looking around, you see walls off in the distance, though you're not quite sure how to get there through the thick and the brush. Um, but you do see a small, what appears to be village in comparison to Harmony. It has not quite achieved the level of development where it would have stone walls. Wooden palisades are all that protect against or that divide this town or village from the elements beyond. And you can hear a great many elements. Give me a perception check.
Here.
Perception is going to be on the right side.
Yeah, it's +3 for me.
Okay.
That's a 13.
13. Well, the most obvious thing would be the large hulking creatures way off in the distance. You're unsure what kind they are. However, they almost appear dragon sized. You know of dragons and you know of some basic animals. But whatever that is off in the distance, you're hardly capable of defining what it is. It seems almost reptilian in nature, and you ponder it for a moment when you hear the sound of movement nearby.
I mentally say I really hope those are not carnivores before I turn around and start looking for where I'm hearing the movement coming from.
Standing, or rather coming out of the brush, is a very tall, brutish figure. Large, undersized, or under below the jaw and scissors. I don't know. I'm not a dentist.
Underfang.
Large, yeah, large underfangs sticking out. He seems to be an older individual, though you've never seen this kind of creature or thing before. It is bipedal. It wears clothing. It appears somewhat civilized. However, what it is, you have no idea. Gavin, you come across another one of these fallen types.
Say, well, I'll kind of like push through the bush and like, all right, on your feet, fallen. You're gonna want to get to dissidents as quick as you can.
Well, uh, good to know that I can at least understand you.
Yeah, I presume he speaks common. I'm
Common,
gonna.
yes.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how. Yeah, I'm just gonna assume.
It is the language, common, real quick, common is the language of the gods.
Okay.
So it is expected that almost all races utilize it, as they are all creations of the gods and goddesses. They just have their own private language that they use as well.
Yeah.
Dissidents? What?
Yeah, I motion through the tree line, kind of pointing with my quarterstaff. You see those walls? That's where you're gonna want to head. Uh, the only home for your kind around here.
Quick question. Which walls are he pointing is he pointing at? The ones off in the distance or the wooden ones?
Yes. The ones off in the distance are the wooden ones.
Okay, sorry. I was visualizing them as two different things. Okay, my bad.
No, you're fine.
So, that away. May I ask who you are?
The name's Ural, but I have greater problems to deal with, I believe. There's still a few more fallen, I believe. Hopefully their spell worked, and I actually find them in not a red mist. Um, I'll collect them and I'll see if I find you in town. Otherwise, you may want to acquaint yourself with whatever home is here for you.
Um, counter idea. How about I just come with you so I don't get lost?
The walls are right there. You can see them from here.
They're kind of a distance. There's a ravine.
Yes, I
not too
forget
rough.
that the fallen barely know how to navigate anything that is not a street. Very well.
Kind of nod, and
Mine knows what fell with you.
Jace nods and moves with his new companion.
All right, Devin.
Me.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Cursing and yelling and whatever it is that you do, similarly engulfed in flames. Your landing is a little easier, actually, given that there's not as much brush on this side of wherever you are. I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
All right. Let's see. That's 9 plus 2, 11.
11. Your landing, however, is still not quite as graceful, as even though the ground beneath you looks somewhat okay, you fail to take into account the massive amounts of wind blowing in your direction. And as soon as you hit the ground on fours instead of twos at this point,
Doubly.
you're blown sideways a few feet by just wind. It takes a little bit of time, and of course, you are, for the most part, stuck where you are. You do see a city off in the distance. It is, of course, against the grain of the wind. You'll be pressing into it, but knowing what you do about early life, it's the closest thing to civilization you see in any kind of visual.
Well, just the fact that there is any civilization down there is comforting. So, what do I have on me?
You inspect what you've got on hand, and you look at the clothes on you, and Jace, you do the same thing as you're traveling. You realize that merely the clothes on your back are the only thing you have. Everything else appears to have been devoured by the flames.
My stuff. That was expensive stuff. Anyways, I could barely hear myself think with all this wind. But I'm gonna start heading towards the only settlement I see. Hopefully
Mhm.
there's some somewhat civilized people there. So I'll start fighting the wind.
As you start fighting the wind, you have your arm up against the gale force against you. And for a brief moment, it seems to almost stop, and you bump into what you can only guess is the thing that is blocking the winds. Standing relatively unfazed by these winds is a large, tall tree trunk of a being. And another individual that you may have seen in Harmony from time to time, not likely, but you recognize city folk when you see one.
Oh, yes, you stay right there. You'll be my wall.
I think he's talking to you.
Yes, I'm like, they really, those gods really are making them weaker these days, getting knocked over by a breeze. Is it really worth my time to escort them to this city?
We're not all trees.
I'm not a
You're
tree?
green? Are you not?
Yeah, but trees are brown.
The leaves are green.
That's not part of, well, okay, it is part of the tree, but it is not the entire tree. Nevertheless, are you going to stand up, or are you going to just get knocked over by the wind for the next 3 hours?
Well, I'd rather not get knocked over by the wind, so I'm going to stay behind you, my big wall, and we'll go that way. I point to the city.
At last you would, but judging by your condition, I fear the other two fallen are probably, knowing my luck, they're probably under attack at this point. So I'm going to go find them first. There's no point in letting them die. You can push on to the city, or join us and maybe at least acquaint yourself with the wilderness. I'm sure it's all too different.
Well, I don't know where I am, but you know where I am. So
Yes, you're on the border of dissonance. The city you see in the distance over there as I kind of motion over. You are already heading in that direction.
Okay, is there a path that way, or am I gonna have to walk through wind and forest and rock to get there?
Paths imply that there's another place at the end of the path. That is the civilization that you have here. There is nothing else.
Oh, so you're saying it won't be easy. I'll follow you then, my big wall friend.
Speaking. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying very well. Let's push on then.
Speaking of being attacked, Kaya, Yikishi,
Mm.
you two landed relatively in the same location. So, Kaya, you're the first to come onto scene, as it were. As you land, you realize all of your equipment is gone. You have nothing but the clothes on your back. The flames appear to have licked them up. It's rather cold where you're standing, and you can see to one side large mountains that just on the peaks of them are snowy and frozen over. And then over to the side, through the dense forest, but still somewhat visible, the wooden walls that have been previously described.
Okay. Pretty good landing. I'd say I give myself a 10 out of 10, given the circumstances.
Make 'em roll.
It's cold, and I don't have my stuff. I start patting myself. Like, frick.
It's at this point you hear a particularly loud roar, followed by whatever reaction Yikishi makes to landing and seeing a great large creature, carnivorous in nature, staring down her nose.
Frick, 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 frick. What the? Is there a rock near me?
Yes, there is a rock.
I grab a rock.
You prepare the rock. You prepare to throw the rock. You see a tabaxi, a cat-like being, bolting like, well, a cat out of hell, breaking through the tree line and running in your general direction.
I hold out my hands. Wait, stop.
Are you
What?
gonna
Is he
stop
taller than me or
running
shorter
behind
than me?
Shorter, way
normal.
shorter. Yeah.
Much shorter.
3 feet?
Maybe.
Probably.
Okay.
Because
I hope I don't step on you.
You're a tabaxi. You've seen this. You know that this is a gnome.
Okay, I look down. What? What? Didn't you hear that?
Well, I mean, you were just running towards me like a bull or a cat, I guess.
I keep looking over my shoulder. Do I see it kind of
It only takes
breaking?
It only takes a few moments for this large reptilian creature, roughly, I don't know, 40 feet in height, 70, 80 feet long, scales like, well, scale armor, gleaming red pattern, and breathing fire out of its nostrils, ripping the trees to the sides, comes charging over the tree line and towards you. Both of you.
All right, so I'm just gonna pick her up and run.
Eyes wide open. Why does this always happen to me?
Hey, gnome, you got magic?
For a price.
How about your
You-
life?
So, funny story. You do not, in fact, have your holy symbol required for casting spells.
Ooh, great. Is that a good thing? Sorry.
No.
You have no spells.
Okay. But she doesn't know that.
Right.
Okay, perfect.
Maybe she just asked you, "Hey, gnome, you got magic?"
Always, but for a price.
Is your life worth anything to you?
Depends who's wanting to take it.
I'll drop you right now and keep running.
Hey, you said spells. You didn't say what kind. I may not have anything useful right now.
I slowly start letting go my grip of her.
Just keep running.
Great.
Just keep running.
You
Hey, I'll
encourage
take
running. And with a cat-like grace, Yikishi does, in fact, bound and maneuver over tree and branch. It's surprisingly well traveled, or she is surprisingly well traveled through the dense forest, which comes as a surprise to Ural. Not as much as the large reptilian behemoth that is bearing down on them. That does not come as a surprise to you at all, really. Let's be honest. You knew it was there. You checked up on it last Tuesday.
Oh, did around.
Is this a relative of yours, my big friend?
Not exactly a direct relative. We are both of this land, if that counts for anything these days. Is this something? I'm assuming it's a dragon. I'm just using my meta game to assume a dragon. But is this creature something I can reason with, or am I gonna solve it?
Actually,
Do I
yeah.
have to draw my axe?
Yeah, this is something, you being a guardian of the area, this is a creature that you actually do check up on and check to make sure that the circle of life ebbs and flows as it should, making sure that they are conducting things. That said, he does seem a little hungry. Not unreasonably so. Just like food fell down from the heavens. Why waste a good thing?
Okay, do I have a Snickers in my backpack by any chance?
That does not exist in this world.
You've got. I mean, you do have. You do have game on hand.
I don't really think that's gonna feed a dragon, however.
It's something he doesn't have to chase.
I will approach I'll approach, not slowly, not like in a sprint towards him or anything. Don't want to startle him, but
Speaking of-
I approach with whatever game I've got, whatever that might be of interest to the beast, and I'm just gonna kind of try to wave it down.
Okay, so Yikishi, you are running with a gnomish football in tow, and just as you start to break the 40-yard line, you see that behind you is a reptilian carnivore that could really just swallow you whole, and in front of you is now this 8-foot tall giant creature with a bestial garish face, waving a tomahawk steak in his hands.
I bolt to him, picking up speed so I can try to pass him up as fast as I can.
The football analogy kind of fails me here, as Yikishi just rockets clean past Ural.
Can you take care of that for me? As I yell back.
Just kind of, probably doesn't even hear me casually talking as they're sprinting past, but I'm like, kind of trying to do that already.
All four of you do look in a bit of awe as the beast actually stops. It does not immediately jump at the meat, but just being in the presence of this individual, this Ural creature thing, the beast does in fact stop and seems to slow down. You hear kind of a bit of a pant. So Ural, you being in tune, you being the current guardian of the area, you do have a form of beast speak.
So, I'm just gonna is there a reason you must chase these fallen. They don't. I'm sure they don't even taste that good. I mean, there's wild oxen that have far more meat on their bones. There's. I mean, one of them was like 3 feet tall. That's not even a bite. What are you doing?
He just kind of sniffs and looks around and just you get the 2-word response of fresh chase.
Well, you weren't doing a very good job chasing them, were they? They were faster than you. You have wings, my friend. Does it? Wait,
Well, I
does it
mean,
have wings?
dragon.
I didn't.
Yeah, it is kind of dragon-esque, but no, it does not actually have wings.
Okay. Shit, my metagaming has failed me.
Would it be possible for me to roll like knowledge nature or anything?
You can attempt to. Yeah.
Okay. I would like to. Nature is +5. So. I don't know Jack. 9.
9. It appears to be a reptilian carnivore. You also immediately think dragon, of course, because that is the thing you know about. This? No. Dragons have wings and longer arms. This thing has medium-sized arms for its type, but no wings, very large, powerful hind legs, and appears to have some kind of fire element to it. But, yeah, no, you don't know what it is.
But I'm just gonna, remind the beast that it is quite close to dissonance, and if it decides to hunt the people who live in this town, they're probably going to get quite angry at it, and likely hunt it back. And although I will try to talk them out of such a thing, there's only so many times you can piss someone off before they stop listening to reason.
You just hear kind of a defeated huff followed by, okay. Food.
I'll toss him whatever steak I apparently had on me. I just had a steak cut and prepared, I guess, as you do.
Well, when you run across giant carnivores and you're half the reason that they're not eating the town, you tend to keep things like that on hand. No sooner does it leave your hands, and the creature does wait until you are no longer in immediate danger. But that's it before grabbing it in midair and, like an M&M, chomping it down. It then huffs and says to Ural, strange things north. Things that do not belong.
There's far too many of those these days, but I appreciate the warning and I'll look into it.
And it's going to not so much turn around as turn a bit to the side, heading towards the oxen of the plains that you reminded him exist. The ground shakes with every of it just running by. But it does run by all of you.
I want to wiggle out of Yishi's grip and straddle her shoulders.
Make an acrobatics check.
Yay!
No, this is not.
Acrobatics. Where is it? Okay, it's sitting at 0, and then
So
plus
it's just a D20.
D20. 19.
Oh,
I don't believe that, Ian. Fact checker.
Yeah, you can come in. Hands up. All right, don't you?
With a bizarre, probably panicked grace, not unlike the cats that you wiggle out of the tabaxi's grip and straddle around the shoulders like, a scared cat.
Man, that was really, really weird.
I'm gonna slap her off my.
Make an acrobatics check.
Okay. There's
Do I
no
try-
pirates in the Caribbean.
Do I have to try to like counter her, like to dodge
your,
it?
your 19 will count for this.
All right, you said roll what again?
An acrobatics check. So
Acrobat.
let me pull it up for you real quick to check. Because you only have 2 sheets. So yeah, if you look where the icon for the program is, right below it, it says acrobatics, and then the number to the right, that +6, that's what you add to your dice, to your d20 roll.
Okay. 1. Where is it? Okay. I got a 20. Ha!
On the dice.
+6.
At 20?
Yeah, I rolled my
one-
dice.
So that is a
Damn it.
critical success. That is a nat 20, natural 20. Traditional 5th edition rolls, nothing really changes, but because I'm an old school DM, I like to do at least a little extra for nat 20s. Thanks, Wizards of the Coast, for making me have to homebrew that. So yes, you do successfully break the gnome free from grasping you. However, it happens almost like a practice trained escape, and you find that you were once wrapped around the tabaxi's neck. Now suddenly there was no tabaxi to support your impending fall to the ground. You're not sure how it happened. No one is, and they were watching.
Second fall of the day. You get no heals from me.
I am not.
And I
supposed to-
brush myself off. Okay, all right, I see how it is. I got it. First, you
Don't
were
go
gonna
climb
run
at people,
over
you
me.
freak.
First, you were gonna go run. Oh, freak, you're the one that picked up a random person off the road.
You know what? I should have
You're
just
running
dropped
towards-
you and let you be a little snack. How about
Yeah,
that?
you did it. Whose fault is that? Your fault.
Yeah, I know. I should have just left you.
Yeah, you should have, but you didn't.
Next
You're
time
all-
I won't.
Ural, it would seem these might be of the more troublesome variety of fallen.
Unfortunately, there's more and more every day.
Hopefully the Baron can take care of them.
Well, you talk fancy. And
You
I
didn't hear
Or, sorry, what?
I was just say, the players do not hear the exposition of the Game Master. Ignore the clouds. The voice in the sky is telling you how things are going. Anyway.
I kind of pick at my horn, just staring at in bewilderment as these two argue with each other.
Who
Look
are
so
you guys?
confused, bud. There's a
I look
reason
in
you
their
were
direction.
thrown out of that city.
Sorry, say again, Ural?
Yeah, don't look so confused. There's quite the reason you were likely thrown out of that city.
Yeah, well, we all got reasons. What's yours?
I wasn't.
So you're not one of us? Or we're one of us?
Have you ever seen someone like me before? No, not likely.
I haven't.
What?
Right? Wasn't that mentioned?
No, you have not. This is not a creature that you have ever seen before.
I retract my statement.
You are of the sky and we are of the land. It has been like that for, well, forever, until you all decided to fall from the sky. But that's not my business. It is just my duty to escort you to the town of you fallen dissonance under that away as I, once again for like the 7th time, point towards the walls.
All right. Well, I'll go wherever you guys go. And I point at Ural and the other two, ignoring the cat.
Where I go, but you are how do I say helpless but politely?
Helpless in a delightful tone.
So you can only get a polite tone when saying that.
You politely state that we are helpless.
And to be fair, this north of the city, looking at the fact that all of them have nothing but basic clothing, they would not last the night in this area. It gets a lot colder.
Ooh, I don't like the cold.
So, I presume you're going to lead them back to the city or town?
If they follow, then
I'm following.
well,
Following.
dump off the
briefly.
strays.
Briefly, Ian, how are we doing on time?
Keep going.
I failed to keep track of everything. It is a difficult journey, to say the least. You've climbed stairs, you've walked upon cobblestone roads, you have traversed the gardens and the courts of Harmony. This whole wilderness travel thing, totally new to you.
I'm tired.
It doesn't smell like mud.
What is that? I touch it.
Why would you? I'm assuming I would smell animal dung and know what it is.
Yes, it is not mud.
Why would you touch that?
Oh, why did I touch it? Is there like a rock in it?
Gross.
I wipe it on. Wait, sorry, Pooter. What's your character's name?
Devin.
Devin. I skillfully wipe it on me.
Wipe it on me or I'll wipe my boot on you.
Don't do that. Okay, when do we? I want to leave. I want to go back up there.
Yeah, mind the dung. It's a useful resource to prolong fires, not worth wasting by smearing on yourselves.
It's also great to tell what's wrong with an animal.
Well, here, smell it.
Yeah.
What's wrong with this animal? I'll hold my boot up to him.
You've squished it. I can't.
You can try for a nature check. Sure.
Why not? Sure. Nature. That's a +5, +3, so that's a +8. 17.
I can double check the +5, +3 thing real quick because it might already add. So let me double check. Nature.
Oh yeah, it does. Sorry.
Yeah, your nature is just +5.
All right, then it would be 14.
14. It's a bit too old for you to tell.
And squished.
Yeah, well, it's not fresh.
I
Whatever it was, it'd be hard to discern based on this.
apologize. That's not fresh dung. I would need fresh dung to do anything with. Right now, that is just scum on the bottom of your boot that you're going to have to smell for a while.
Let out a long sigh.
Speaking of which, you're really only about halfway there.
No. No. And I'm like looking at what's her face, cat girl's shoulders again.
Something did come up, Ural, if you want to expand on what they said, because you've heard it said before, and the Baron has explained the concept of there is no going home.
Well, I mean, would that need explaining? I mean, I figured, how are you going to get up there? You can't fly. Completely unrelated, but like, what time is it in the day at this moment?
It's honestly, it's just past lunch. You've got plenty of daylight to make it to the town.
Well, I'll reassure the small gnome that it's not that much further, and once they're there, they don't really have to leave because there is no leaving.
So, my brain's trying to wrap around it. Oh, but I'm so tired. My brain can't wrap around anything. Uro's pretty tall, right?
Oh,
Big,
he's a behemoth.
sturdy. uh, hmm. Hey, Euro. We're friends, right?
Not really.
Okay, great. Uh, your shoulders look pretty good.
How are you gonna reach my shoulders? They're like 5 feet above you.
Okay. So I kind of gesture like a running pose, like a little butt wiggle, and I dash forward to try to climb on him.
I would love to see this roll.
Oh dear.
I suppose give me another acrobatics check.
Uh,
However, this will be a disadvantage because Ural knows exactly what you're attempting
oh, of course, I'm
and
not.
is actively attempting to not let it happen. For those following, advantage and disadvantage essentially means to roll the dice twice and take the better or worse of the two rolls. So in this case, you'll roll the d20 twice and take the lesser of the two rolls.
Come on, Euro. Be a buddy. Oh. That's a 2. I'm hoping that's the worst.
No, that's not the worst that could happen.
Good. Let's go for it.
However-
That's a 9.
Oh, well, it's just the two.
It's just a straight roll. Yeah, I don't have any acrobatics.
Oddly enough, Euro, you didn't really even have to move, as it seems nature itself has bent to your will to prevent this getting jumped by a 3-foot-tall gnome in the form of a gust of wind picks up, and perhaps, maybe, if Kaya were planted on the ground, she might be able to withstand it. Not while in midair, as she gets blown 5 feet in the other direction. In fact,
Oh my god.
Not again!
rolling down a low hill.
This is why I try to get on someone's shoulders.
How long is she gonna roll for?
Not long, just 20 feet. No damage.
20 feet for a 3-foot person? That's
No,
so
it's because you hit a decline and started tumbling.
With the wind.
with the wind.
Yes.
Guys, I can't.
Yukishi looks back at the other two like, y'all gonna go help her? She keeps walking forward.
I'm like crawling forward.
You do get back to your feet as the gust subsides.
Yes, but I'm dramatic, so. I'm dramatically making my way back.
So, Ural, I was going to say, Ural, you've heard of this kind of behavior before from the Baron. He has spoken often of the behaviors of those who land and how they cope with things. Some people are far less accustomed to hardship than others. You believe that they were called princesses.
Or yes, or in Orcish we call them whiny little
I go by both. Thank you.
I'm just gonna sigh and I'm like, well, let me do some mental calculation. How much longer is it gonna take us to walk to the town with them on their feet like this?
I mean, about half an hour.
It's not that bad.
Okay, yeah. Because I was gonna, if you were gonna say that it was like an hour or something, I was actually gonna shapeshift.
But I'm hungry now.
And I'm tired.
It would seem you're enraptured by 4 royals. You're all-
Hey, how did I get looped into this?
Yeah, that's how I'm thinking right now. How did I get into this?
No, you're all whiny.
I'm just gonna like pick up the gnome by like their neck, like
the back of the neck, like
I'm just kind of like
My feet curl
back,
up.
like, kick or something.
My feet curl up and my hands turn into paws.
Oh, Ural.
change your tactical gnome.
Tactical gnome.
Ural.
Yes.
I apologize. It was rude of me. My name is Jace, by the way. You gave me yours. I did not give you mine. That was rude.
Well, it's sure it is no problem.
I'm Kaya,
Devin.
and I'm still keeping myself in my little curled up position.
You have a bag you could put her in?
Ooh, or a pocket.
Probably
Backpack?
don't have. I probably have a backpack, but I mean, it's got stuff in it. There's no room for no.
Well, that's why I aimed for your shoulders. Or you could just keep carrying me. I give you my big doughy eyes.
I'm just gonna keep walking. We have a town to get to.
Are you still carrying me?
You gonna keep crying about
Not
it?
if you keep holding me.
Uh-uh.
Oh dear.
Big doughy eyes.
Well,
I'll tell you what. Kaya, you may make a charisma check.
Okay. Is that still a D20?
Yes.
Okay. Just one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okie dokie. Oh, shoot.
We're only using D20s in this game, right?
No.
Alright, I rolled a 12. And then do I
Alright.
add anything?
Yeah, your charisma mod.
The
Mod.
charisma modifier.
It's a 1, so I rolled a 13.
13. Their best attempt at seeming like, how do I put this? You've not interacted much with the gnomes, Ural, but this one almost comes off as a child, as a younger version of the gnome. So, I mean, as annoying as they are, they're about as annoying as a kitten.
What?
So really annoying. And
well, have any
you don't-
shells on me, so I should be okay.
yeah, I mean, you don't have the issue is like, yes, they're very annoying, but maybe this one is a child version of the gnome. You're not sure.
We'll deal with it for however long the walk back is. Then I can put him in
Alright.
the street and be done with it.
Yay!
Well, you do know one thing. The Baron might be able to help with whatever's going on in the outskirts. That is kind of part of this arrangement you got going.
Yes, but I do imagine I need to figure out what's going on first before they can help. But we'll see what they have to say.
Sure. It doesn't take long before there is the smell of baked goods coming off the wind as you're slowly approaching. It was a little past lunch when you first started. So the smell of dinner preparations, the longer terms of it, baking certain breads, getting some things prepared, are already starting to waft from the town. It doesn't take long for you to breach through the, well, not breach, but come through the gates. There are what appear to be human guards standing at the gate, and they look at the group, and then they look at Euro, and one of them kind of nods his helmet and says, 4 more, huh?
And another day, another, well, fallen.
Well, can't really be too mad. whatever they did, we'll find out. But hey, we appreciate you bringing them in nonetheless. It saved a lot of lives out there.
Yes, two of them, well, very actually quite directly saved. Um, I'm not sure if your folk here have been aggravating the local beasts, but they are uppity as well as, well, concerned about the happenings in the world. Not ventured
Did
too
we
far.
upgrade to a car?
Where did that come from?
It's a motor carriage.
Sorry, try again.
I'm warning the guards that, like, hey, yeah, that big old dragon thing that wasn't a dragon. I don't know what you did to it, or if it was just being stupid. But be careful.
They're not known for their intelligence. The creature, not the humans.
Wait,
But
oh,
anyway,
anyway, but
hey, Non says, we'll look into it. To our knowledge, no one should be up there, but if we come across someone, we'll let you know.
Thank you all for joining us for Harmony's Fall. We look forward to seeing you again. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.